my channel. This is going to be a video that's a little bit different to the ones that I normally make. So this one is a makeup tutorial video and it's my everyday makeup look. This is more of a crossover makeup look, I guess, from end of summer, beginning of autumn / fall. So there's a little bit of darker accents in the lip colour and also with the eyes as well. But if you have any comments on the products that I've used, or if you have any questions at all about the techniques that I've used, then just let me know and I will see you all very soon. Bye!
So we're starting off with a blank canvas, and I've already gone ahead and moisturised my face using my number 7 daily moisturiser, and now I'm just going in with my Clinique All About Eyes, and I'm going to pop that just underneath my eyelids, as this is a really good base and a really good moisturiser for your eye areas as well. Now, as you can probably see, I do have a few breakouts at the moment and a few old acne scars as well, so this is a great makeup look for anybody who's a little bit conscious of that, or if anybody who wants to have a decent amount of coverage for their breakouts if they're not having a particularly good skin day. So that's eyes done, and moving on to my primer. So I'm using the Rimmel London Long Lasting Primer, and this one is a brilliant one. All primers are great to give you that really good base. So what I'm doing is I'm really concentrating the primer on the areas where my skin texture isn't the smoothest or isn't the most uniform. And a trick with this primer is don't rub in little circles, just spread out, and that will give you a really good smooth finish as well. So now we move on to concealer. Now I have two types of concealer, one for my eyes and one for the rest of my face. So for my eyes I use the Clinique Airbrush Concealer, and my shade is number 2 medium. And the idea for this is just to put it around your eyes in the areas where you may have a few more eye bags or any areas of a hyperpigmentation. Now with my eyes in particular, I do have darker circles that go around, and if I don't conceal them it can make me look very tired, even though I may have had a really long night's sleep. So I use my fingers to blend in the concealer, and the idea is just to very gently tap it in so that it blends in very nicely. With the warmth of your finger the product melts in very nicely and it just gives you an overall smooth finish. So I do the exact same thing to the other eye, and then once I've finished, if I need to put any more on then I will put a second load on, but for now I'm happy with the amount that I've put on, and I can move on to the concealer for the rest of my face. So the concealer that I use for my face is the Witch Tea Tree Concealer Pen, and I use it in the shade Neutral, and it comes in 3 shades, so you pretty much have to kind of go with it, and luckily enough for me it does work, it does blend in quite nicely. But for me really the reason I use the concealer is just to bring down the redness. So I will be using foundation on top of this, but this is just to really try and camouflage the redness that I have, and what I do is just pop it straight on to the areas that need a little bit more coverage, and then once I'm happy with the coverage that I've got, I'm able to then go in and blend with my fingers again. So the same principle as with the concealer around my eyes, it's gentle tapping motions to really warm up the product and to have a really good blend of the product into my skin. Now the great thing about tea tree is it does help to fight and combat the breakouts that you may have. So ideally you don't want to be putting products onto your face that aren't anti-comedogenic. You want things that will help your breakouts. So here I'm just putting the concealer onto the redder patches on the forehead area. Now you might be able to see that I've got 2 red circular patches just above my eyebrows. Now this isn't breakouts, this is the area of skin that was removed when my eyebrow specialist, or the lady from the salon, when she went to do my eyebrow waxing, a bit of extra skin came off, and that's quite normal with me. I've got very sensitive skin, so that normally happens when I get an eyebrow wax, but the redness doesn't last too long. So here I am again, just as before, blending it all in, making sure that I'm happy with the amount of coverage that the concealer has given me, and for now that is absolutely fine. So we can move on to the foundation. So the foundation that I use is the Clinique Anti-Blemish Solutions Liquid Foundation, and I use it in the number 3 Fresh Neutral colour, and I just pop it on the back of my hands, and again, just as before with my fingers, I very gently apply it onto all the areas that need a little bit more coverage. I really like using my fingers to apply my makeup. It does take a little bit more time. It's definitely more time consuming than when you're using brushes or sponges or beauty blenders, but I do prefer the finish that it gives you. I find that nothing beats the heat that you get from your fingers, which helps just blend the makeup in really well, and it means that your makeup doesn't end up being cakey. It ends up looking very light. You still get your natural colour and your natural complexion coming through the foundation, which is something that I really like. So I apply the same principle to my cheeks and also to my nose, making sure that I've got the foundation on an even coverage all over. Now, I think the trick is, if you want your makeup to look nice and natural and light, the trick is just don't put too much on, and that's where applying it with your finger comes in really handy, because it's time consuming, and if you want a really thick face full of makeup, then you're going to be there forever and a day trying to put it on. So at least this slows you down a little bit, and it just gives you an idea of how much makeup you really need to put on to get a really light coverage. And I put, as you saw before, I put a little bit more on my hands, and those 2 amounts that I put of foundation on my hands is all that I need. That is more than enough for my entire face to give me a really good coverage, but not too much, so that I don't look like I am caked in makeup. And that is my foundation done, and I am very happy with that. So we can move on to eyes. So I use the Soap & Glory Super Cat eyeliner, and here I am just applying it. Now I apply my eyeliner very lightly, so I have a very thin line, and that is my left eye done, and then I quickly went and did my right eye as well, so that I've got a very thin line, it's not too heavy, of eyeliner, and that looks like that, and I'm quite happy with that. I think it looks nice and even. And then I can move on to my eyebrows. So I use an old mascara brush, which I didn't throw away, I kept it just so that I can brush my eyebrows out. I never really get on very well with the eyebrow brushes that you can buy separately, so this one does the trick, and I've used it for a long time now, and I just think it does a really good job with my eyebrows, makes them nice and neat. So I always prep them like this, and then I go in with my eyebrow pencil, and then I'm quite fortunate to have nice thick dark eyebrows, but I still like to shape them up a little bit more. So now moving on to eyelash curlers, and the idea for me is to hold the eyelash curlers onto my eyelashes for a good 35, maybe 40 seconds, and then the same idea with the other eye, holding it down and occasionally pressing it and releasing it just to really get that curl in there, and holding it down for the same amount of time as well. And now moving on to mascara. So I have got the Clinique High Impact Mascara, and I find this is a brilliant mascara to really separate the eyelashes. It doesn't make them clumpy at all, but it does make them nice and long, nice and separated, and I think just overall it gives my eyelashes a really good look. So now moving on to the bronzer, and the bronzer that I use is from the Body Shop, and it's in the shade number 3. Now I really like this bronzer, particularly because there are no shimmers to it. It's a very muted colour, and personally I think it looks a lot more natural. It gives your face a lot of contour as well, and it just gives your face a really lovely sun-kissed look. So here what I'm doing is just applying it to the E of my face, so that's my forehead and my cheekbones, and also just underneath my jawline as well. So now moving on to my blusher, and I use the same brush to apply my blusher. So here I am just cleaning it, making sure that I'm getting rid of any excess bronzer that I had, and the blusher that I use is the Coralista blusher from Benefit. So the tip is glow off any excess and then just smile and apply the blusher onto the areas where you would normally blush, just for a really natural look. And with this blusher, because it's such a vivid colour, I think a little goes a very long way. So moving on to the lipstick. Now I don't think any makeup look is complete without your lipstick, so this is one by Makeup Academy and I love the colour. I think it's perfect for this transition going from the end of summer, beginning of autumn. So because this is my everyday makeup look, I'm not using any lip liners. I'm going straight in with the lipstick, just tapping it in very gently to get the outline and the shape that I want. And then once I'm happy with that, I can just go all the way across and get a nice solid colour on the lips. And then topping it off with some Vaseline. Now this is the Queen Bee edition, and this one is really good for a little bit of shimmer, but also just to moisturise the lips, and also it makes the lipstick a little bit more longer lasting. And now onto my highlighter. So my highlighter is the Ula Lift by Benefit, and honestly doing the highlighting is my favourite part of the whole makeup look. So what I do is I just put the product on the areas that I want there to be a little bit more of a highlight. So that is just above the eyebrow bone and on my nose and then just underneath my lips. And then just as before with my finger again, just very gently, gentle tapping motions just so that the product gets blended in really well and really evenly, and just so that it looks lovely as well. When the light hits it, the product picks up the light really nicely and gives you a very lovely shimmery natural glow. So I'm really in love with this product at the moment. And that is it, guys. That is the finished look. So like I said, this is my everyday makeup look, so it has to be easy and it has to be quick as well to do. And because it's a daytime look, the makeup coverage, I don't like it to be too heavy. I like it to be light enough so that it could be natural, but it also has to provide the right amount of coverage for any problem areas that you may have. So that is it, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye!